Some villain said, there is no good, there is no evil. There's just power, and those too weak to seek it. I thought those words were interesting. I think it's about to rain, and what's weird is that when I left, there were no signs of rain. I came across a video on TikTok. It's a video of a cat that was hiding by a wall. And behind the wall, there were pigeons. It wanted to cage these pigeons. The guy that was recording the video was inside a car. For some reason, he decided to hit the bell, and the pigeons flew away, and that cat looked at him like, it was funny and sad at the same time. I checked the comments because I knew people will have something to say. And 90% of the people felt sorry for the cat. And they felt like that guy was a jerk. They didn't look at him like he was a hero. I mean, he saved one of the birds from getting eaten. Right? One of those birds was about to get eaten. You know, probably had a family, who knows. But it wanted to leave. It didn't want to die. So he saved those pigeons. But also by saving those pigeons, he starved the cat. Because the cat wanted to eat something. It's not like we give cats food in the street, right? Especially those cats that don't really have a home. We don't give them food. We don't give a damn about them. We just pass them. We don't even like them. Like when we see them, we want them to stay far from us. So yeah, the cat was hunting. So what really was the right thing to do in that situation? Save the pigeons, or let one of them get eaten, because it's the cycle of life. Some people were like, hey, at least he saved the pigeons. Because it's not like they want to get eaten. Some people just felt like it was a jerk. Like, why would he do that? They didn't even have a reason to do that. He could have just watched the show. That would be like if God decided to stop me from doing something like himself. Like, he wants to achieve his goals. He's about to become a millionaire now, and he'll be like, I'm stop that from happening because I have the power to do that. So he stops me from becoming a millionaire. Like, he'll just be a jerk, right? But the way that the guy laughed, you could see he liked he liked what happened. Like, it was fun. He was bored. Oh, there's a pigeon. He was bored, he wanted to have some fun, and I did have some fun. The cat didn't, get to eat something, and the birds were saved, and he also had fun. So who really was right in that situation? Was the guy right? Was the cat right? The way things are set up in this realm doesn't allow people to be good. It doesn't allow people to act in ways that, they want to act, in ways that they can justify. Doesn't allow animals to be good, to have compassion for other animals. A lion is not programmed to feel compassion for a rabbit. Doesn't care if that rabbit has a family, if that rabbit wants to leave, if that rabbit has a broken leg, it can't even run. It doesn't care. In our world, we deal with different kinds of people. We deal with psychos, people who don't care if they hurt you, as long as they get what they want. Are they bad? What if nature programmed them to be that way and we just hate that? So we say they're bad. After all, it's not in our best interest to sympathize with psychos. If you feel sympathy for psychos, like if you feel empathy for psychos, your life will be in danger. You trust a psycho, your life will be in danger. If you meet a psycho and you don't know how they act, you just think that you just met a person, who's how they are, and you don't realize that that's a psycho, something bad might end up happening to you, right? But is a psycho a bad person if they were programmed to be the way that they are? I mean, they exist just like you exist. They're interested in what they're interested in. Maybe it's hurting other people, but that's how they are. That's how they get to have fun. You're programmed differently. Maybe you do hurt people in some ways that you don't even realize. The same way that the birds were eating worms. I mean, they were eating worms, right? You could say, the birds were innocent. Like, were they innocent? They were eating worms. They were also eating something that wanted to leave. So can we really be good as people? Or we're just in a trap where no matter what we do, we can never be good because we were programmed to be bad. You see, by surviving, we have to do harmful things, period. Like you can never survive if you're not doing harmful things. So vegans will be like, well, what about, the way that we're treating animals is, this is wrong, obviously. If we can prevent suffering, or the kind of suffering that we can prevent as people, and if we can at least have like compassion for the animals that are kind of like us. The animals that we're abusing, they're not so different from us. They're not so different from us. That will be good. That will show that we are reaching higher levels of consciousness and we are determined to minimize suffering. That will be good. But still, we do unalive a lot of living things when we eat our plants, right? There are a lot of living things that rely on those plants, that when we cultivate these plants, they die. Like there's no way out of that. Like as long as you are going to be alive as a human, do things that are going to keep you alive, you have to cause suffering. Even if a lion reached a high level of consciousness where it was like, I don't want to harm these animals. It will just starve and die, and it will die a painful death. Imagine starving to death. It will die a painful death. And the animals that it would be feeling sorry for would not be giving a fuck. Like, they would be causing harm. So you see, it's a paradox when you think about it. So the question is, should I sacrifice my happiness for the sake of morality? And why should I do that if other living beings are not doing that? Right? That becomes a very important question. If I'm programmed to be a psycho, and the only way that I can feel happy is if I'm doing things that are harmful, should I stop and be like, well, the things that I'm doing are harmful, so I'm not going to do these things because I care about other living creatures? But they themselves are having fun in their own ways. Remember, morality is subjective, right? I mean, unless you try to see things more realistically, but most people have their own morality, right? Based on how they were raised up and all that. They do things that are harmful that they don't even realize that these things are harmful. The same way that if you were a psycho, you would do some things that are harmful and not realize that you are harmful, and unless you started becoming very conscious, that you are actually able to see the harm that your actions are causing. But people do cause harm. I think about people who end up becoming school shooters. They get bullied for being weird, for being different. We accept that as a collective. Like, the one who's weird has to be bullied. We accept that. And then that person feels so much pain that they feel like destroying something. The same, and for them it's a bit different because they were caused to feel that way. At least no one caused you to feel that way. No one caused you to feel like bullying that kid, right? You just decided that you want to have fun by bullying the kid. But the kid didn't really have a choice. The kid ended up in a situation where they felt like they needed to destroy. And then they end up doing something horrible. And then we continue to hate. We continue to bully. Now, I'm not saying shooting up a school is a good thing, but when you're operating at a very high level of consciousness, you must ask yourself, what causes that? In most cases, it's bullying. I think the kind of feeling that the kids that end up shooting up schools feel is the kind of feeling that people who have been slaves, like, there's this concept, it's called slave morality, like people who have been treated like slaves their whole life feel if they want to do something bad to their masters, right? Like, you've been treated like shit your whole life, and yeah, it actually you feel justified to cause harm, and the kind of harm that you're going to cause is going to be so messed up that no one is going to understand how a person like you is capable of that kind of harm, because you were good, right? You were taking it and taking it and taking it until you couldn't take it anymore, and the anger was too strong for you to control. Like, it got to a point where your anger became an entity, like it became alive, right? So you couldn't control it anymore, and makes you want to do things that are really, really harmful, things that other people won't understand. So what I've realized that when we do people wrong, we kind of expect them to just take it, right? And if it gets to a point where they are so hurt or so angry that they wanna, take it out, because maybe they feel like that's the only way that they can take it out, we start to blame them. But when we were causing harm, we felt like that was good and they kind of deserved that. But when they decide to play their own game, when they decide to cause harm, maybe because they feel like they have to, we blame them. As humans, when we take sides, we don't look at everything, right? Like most people are so shallow that when they take sides, they don't look at everything. When it comes to deciding who's right and who's wrong in a situation, they don't look at everything. They look at the damage caused, and that's it. If you've been getting hurt your whole life, you've been getting abused your whole life, and no one was saying anything, and then one day you do something very horrible, everyone is only gonna look at what you did. Like, hey, look at that, what that person did. Wow, they're horrible, they're horrible. But what made them horrible? Who do we really blame? Did nature make them that way? Did we make them that way? Right? Because, well, some people are just psychos. They were born that way. It didn't matter how their lives is going to be. They were just psychos, bro. They don't feel empathy for anyone. It's all about them. They feel nothing. So what do you expect? But some people were treated so badly that they became so damn angry that in their reality it felt normal to do something horrible because they were angry. The same way that if you are very angry, you feel like breaking stuff. Right? Depends on how you are as a person, but you could feel like breaking stuff and you start breaking stuff. Sometimes you feel like fighting someone, feel like hitting someone. It does happen. Parents take their anger out on their kids. I've seen parents make their kids, and you could see that they're not even disciplining them anymore. Like, they're just angry. It seems like we could never solve the problem of right and wrong because we are different as people. There will be people who are privileged in this world who will take advantage of those who are not privileged. And those who are being taken advantage of are going to become angry. And when they become angry, they start doing bad things. It's the ones who win, it's the ones who gain power that get to come up with the rules. And sometimes the rules that they come up with do not work for everyone. Those who came up with the education system, it doesn't work for everyone, right? Some people were forced to go to school even though they couldn't memorize shit. And we felt like they were idiots and they didn't become anything in life. So what do? Maybe if things went like that, they could have thrived. Maybe they would have thrived in a different system. So should they just watch us become successful? If school helped us and they become our slaves, should they be happy with that? Or should they break the rules? Should they try, you know what I mean? Who's right, who's wrong? It seems like once a person is brought here, They could never do anything that's wrong. They could never do anything. I mean, maybe they can do some things that are actually right, but they can't really do things that we can say, you're wrong, you're wrong. It's like, maybe if a person, if there's something that is right that a person can do, is deny themselves all the pleasures of this world and all the things that, you know, sustain them, I guess. Maybe. It's a trap. And that proves that it's a hell realm, because it has been set up in a way that if we decided to be truly good, all of us, let's say all sentient beings here, if they decided to truly be good, the whole thing will fall apart. You understand? Everything will die. If every sentient being decided that it was going to be good, it's going to stop causing harm, everything will die. Most people think, hey, yeah, those who are evil, you know, they're bad and this and that. Like, yeah, if everything that is conscious stopped doing harmful things, this whole reality would fall apart. It means that there will end up not being any conscious being here, because we are programmed to survive by causing harm. You see? That's why we feel like only the bad guys win. Doesn't it have to do with how nature intended things to be? Think about it. Why does the world reward evil? When you are selfish, when you truly play the game. If you watched Squid Game, you could see that every game was set up in a way that some people must lose their lives. Like, not everyone gets to make it. Except the first game, I guess. Maybe it was possible for some people to survive, but those who created the game knew that human beings are ignorant and incapable of working together. Did you enjoy the second season of Squid Game? I couldn't even finish it. I've had to just watch the recap just to see how it ended. Like, it was so bad that I was like, I'm not watching this. Maybe I've only watched maybe 3-4 episodes, and I was like, nah, this ain't my thing. You know, it doesn't, like, it's not. It seems like they didn't have ideas, because sometimes when you are trying to make a new season of a TV series, you must bring new people, right? Like, people with new ideas, especially people who are still young. It seems like they still wanted to work with the old team, and they didn't have any new ideas. So it's like they just recreated it. Like, they just recreated everything, but in a way that was, you know, it was not the same. It's like they didn't have the same drive. It was a mess. I still don't understand people who don't realize that this is a hell realm. They don't realize that we are in a trap, all of us. Not just the humans, but animals as well. They're in the same trap that we're in. They're in the same shit that we're in. And it might suck more for them because they're less conscious than we are. So they might not even understand that they're in deep shit. This takes me back to the book of Genesis. I still find it interesting that in the book of Genesis, the book that people believe was about the beginning of humanity, the beginning of civilization. It was written that we weren't supposed to eat from the tree of knowledge, the knowledge of good and evil. I find it interesting because as humans, we do have that thing of, even though morality, we're not conscious enough to truly be moral, let me put it that way, to truly see what is right. We're selfish. We're only judging things based on how we're benefiting or how we're not benefiting. But still, we are better than animals. That's why we try to create these laws, these rules, you know. Sometimes that's coming from a genuine place. Like, we're trying to make things better. We're like, hey, maybe we can fix the world if, you know, there are no gay people, you know. Like, you're ignorant, right? You're like, maybe if there are no gay people, we can fix the world. But you don't realize that you are also causing suffering because they are built the way that they are built, you know? It's not their fault that they are the way that they are. Should they not have fun because you hate them? Is it? It's selfish, but you're not conscious enough to realize that. You're like, the world is messed up because of them. The world is messed up because of cross dresses. You know? Isn't that like... But those who are truly conscious can see through the BS. They can see through their own BS. You got to be so conscious that you are able to see through your own BS. You know, if you are causing harm, you must be able to see that, but I am causing harm here. You know, I'd like to think I'm a good person, but look at the amount of harm I'm causing. Look at how selfish I am. You know, sometimes I have to deny myself some fun just to be good, right? Or just to not cause harm. It's kind of like you choosing to be a vegan, right? You like, I'm not gonna, I hate to see this animal suffering, so I'm not gonna consume any more products. But it's everything is a trap. Like, you never truly break out of this cycle. But it shows that you are determined to break out of this cycle, right? Like, you don't want to cause harm. It's just not possible. But I would say that is a good thing because it shows you are operating at a very high level of consciousness. You can see that there's something wrong with this realm. And I've always wondered why some people who are vegans don't realize that this is a hell realm. You know, some of them are just being vegan for fun because, you know, the culture of veganism is dope, right? Some people just have the culture, like just being part of something. Because you gotta realize that humans consuming animal product, that's completely natural. It's how it is. So if that's natural, doesn't it mean that nature is evil, or whatever created nature is evil? And it created a place where sentient beings had to torture each other to survive, and that's not a good thing. So what was the intention? Wasn't for this to be a hell realm? So even if you choose to be good, it doesn't mean that this wasn't intended to be a hell realm, right? Like, it should be obvious. So when you tell a vegan that, hey, Antinatalism actually makes sense. Be like, you crazy? Like, if you really look at what's going on around you, do you really think you can save the world by just simply not eating animals? Like, there's a lot going on. Yes, we must try to do what we can to protect those that we can protect. That's beautiful. But we also must be intellectually honest. We also must be consistent. Your logic has to make sense. It mustn't get to a point where your life, the way that you live life, contradicts with your philosophy. You gotta go all the way so that it shows that it's not like you're not being vegan just because it's fun for you, or just because you want to be healthy, or just because you want to feel like you're doing something good. It must show that you understand everything. So you are actually trying to stop harm in every way possible, not just in one way, just because it's much easier for you and it's fun for you to stop evil in that way, because that will also be coming from a place of selfishness. You see, it wouldn't be so different from a person wanting to stop people from being gay because they hate them, or they prefer a world without gay people. Like, it's the same thing, because you'll be doing that out of selfishness, but not really look at it that way. And it wouldn't really seem that way because you are preventing harm, but you are preventing harm out of selfishness. It's not because you're like sacrificing yourself to the world and you're like, I can suffer in every way possible for what is truly good to happen, right? Not only in ways that I'm comfortable, because some people suffer in ways that they're comfortable. Like they'll be like, yeah, I'm suffering, but you find that the truth is that they're actually gaining something from that kind of suffering. So a person might decide that they're not going to consume any more products, but they're gaining something out of that. Maybe they're gaining validation. Maybe they find themselves living in a community, so it feels good. So it's kind of like the same thing. Like the feeling that they feel is the same feeling that other people feel for doing things that are harmful. So no one is better in that situation. You see? So the hell realm has been designed in such a way that you can't just truly be good if you are trying to survive, and if you want to be successful in this realm. Like, if you want to be somewhere in this realm, you don't want to end up homeless, having nothing, you're going to have to cause a lot of harm. Like, there's no way around it. It's how the realm was designed. The same way that in Squid Game, to win, you got to be heartless. I mean, the guy that won in the first season didn't win because he could have won. Like, in the real world, he wouldn't have won. Like, the baddest guys would have won. You remember that guy that was on the last game, where they'll put glasses, the guy that was pushing people, like, that's the guy that probably would have won in the real world. Not him. Like, he was too good to win that kind of a game, right? They just wanted to make us believe in heroes. Like, a person can be good and actually win. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. In the real world, the bad guy wins. In Squid Game, if that kind of game existed in real life, the bad guy would have won. The baddest guy would have won, or he would have stood a better chance of winning. And if the baddest guy doesn't win, the second baddest guy would win, or the third baddest guy. But you gotta be bad. Doesn't that suck? Doesn't it suck to realize that? That's why I don't really blame people for being bad. You know what I think? I think people must work on becoming so conscious that they see things as they really are. Like, I'm no longer concerned with right and wrong and all that. Like, to me, it's about people reaching high levels of consciousness where they're able to see things as they really are. Like that's what really matters in the end. Are you conscious enough to see things as they really are? Like there are people who are causing no, I mean, everyone's causing harm, but not the kind of harm that we can see. You know, you see that, you know, they're not really causing that much harm, you know. But they are so damn unconscious that they could be turned into anything. Or you could turn them into a weapon. Like they can't think for themselves. If you brainwash them enough, you could easily turn them into a weapon. Because they're empty, you know. Damn, it's starting to rain now. They're empty, right? It's so weird, man. Like when I left my room, I even thought of rain, because it rains almost every day. I even thought of rain. I was like, today I'll be able to do this because there won't be rain. And then boom, it starts to rain. Because I want to do walk and talk videos. Like I love doing this kind of videos. Like it's fun, right? It's fun. I enjoy doing walk and talk video, and I enjoy walking. So I don't enjoy standing in one place making videos as much as I enjoy doing like walk and talk videos. I think I'm able to express myself more, and I want to become more and more comfortable because now I'm in a place where there's many people, right? So it might not be easy to focus. You can easily get distracted. So I'm trying to train my mind to focus on what I'm doing, you know, even though this place is dangerous. Niggas could just try to jump you and rob you, you know. You never know. Niggas are hungry here, man. This is where it goes down. Like this is one of the most dangerous places in South Africa. Like this is where it goes down for real. Is that I'm not afraid. I've always felt like the devil is protecting me, you know, because I'm doing his work. So I'm good. If I ever blew up on YouTube and became famous, someone will cut that clip and be like, "Oh, did you hear what he said? Look at it. He specifically said that he's working for the devil." How stupid are you to still be listening to, you know? People are so damn unconscious that it actually sucks, man. But I think it has stopped. When you think about the story of God and the devil, who was really right? God wanted to control everything. The devil was like, we gotta have free will, I guess. You know, there's some things that you're doing that are totally wrong, that we don't agree with. You know, you can't control everything. And if you read your Bible, you realize that, yeah, the Christian God was that evil, you know. Just because he is powerful doesn't mean that he's not evil. But it goes back to what this villain that I'm telling you about said, that there's no right or wrong, there's just power, and those two weak to seek it. So we believe that as a collective, right? That's why most people will side with God even though he's more evil than the devil. Like it's so obvious that. And what do I mean by evil? I mean he's caused more harm than the devil, right? And he has power to stop evil. That's another thing that you must realize. So not only has he caused more harm than the devil, he also has power to stop evil. So that's interesting. It's interesting that he wouldn't try to stop evil if he can, because most people would try to stop evil if they can, right? It's just not easy to do that. Today is Saturday, so it's weekend, but I don't think it's gonna be a very busy weekend because people are broke. Like, they spend a lot of money this December, so they don't have money. It's crazy that to have fun, people gotta buy alcohol and be drunk. Like, that's our idea of fun as humans. Like, there isn't much that you can do. Like, people buy alcohol and celebrate. Like, it's not easy to have fun by just being in a public place with people who are sober. It doesn't really work. So you have to operate at a low level of consciousness to have fun, because that's what you're actually doing. You're like, I'm operating at a very high level of consciousness. I can't do dumb shit when I'm operating at this level of consciousness. So I have to find something that's gonna lower my consciousness so that I will have some fun. I'll deal with the consequences tomorrow. Then when you wake up the next day, yep, you deal with the consequences. It shows that we're in a hell realm, man. I don't think at this point people should even be denying that. I think people should only be debating about how we can set ourselves free. Like, what can we do? Like, I think that should be the debate. Not that we are in a world that wasn't meant for us to thrive and become better. You know, people should realize that it's a trap. It's a trap. It's meant to keep them at low states of consciousness and just do things that are harmful, and that's it. That's why we're being rewarded more for being harmful, for causing harm. You can never train someone to be good by rewarding them for being bad. It doesn't work that way. If you reward me for being bad, I'm going to assume that I'm supposed to be bad. You see? That is why we feel like people who do good in some situations are stupid. I remember there's this chick. She found a lot of people were angry in South Africa. So she found a box with like 16 million, something like that. She found it maybe in the bushes, like it. She called the cops, and everyone was mad. Like, why would you call the cops? Like, everyone was mad at her, and I'm pretty sure that even now people are still mad at her, because that's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money. So even though I don't know if I should say that she did the right thing, I don't know. I can't really say she did that right. I don't know. But I guess if if by the standard of the world, I would say she did the right thing. Like, that's what everyone would say in public. But when they're alone, they'll probably be like, at least that chick is stupid. You know, that's how they will feel when they're alone. So if the world is like that, doesn't it mean something is wrong? If people are being rewarded for doing evil and tortured for not doing evil, this place is actually beautiful. So it's a theater. It's actually dope. and the art. Like some people do have a gift. I mean, if you left me here for billions of years, I'll never be able to do that. No, just kidding. I think that's possible, but I don't know if I'll be able to do, like, I think it will take years for me to be able to do it at that level. Like it'll take years for me to be able to do it at that level. It will need to be something that I've trained myself to do for the longest time. I think that what will be impossible for me is to create something technological. Like I don't think, even if they left me here forever, I would be able to create something like something like this, like a camera. I don't think I'll be able to. It reminds me of Joe Rogan's joke about dumb people outbreeding smart people. He said that his worst fear is if all the intelligent people died and they left us with a bunch of shit that we do not understand. We'll naturally go back to living in cages and then, in caves. Then when we come out, we start rediscovering the world, and we see all these buildings and we're like, who built that shit? It has to be aliens. So we're saying that it feels like that's what's happened to the pyramids. Like dumb people outfucked smart people, and then they started, all the intelligent people died. I thought that was funny. So he said, yo, if you left me in an island with all the tools in the world, you'd find me catching fish with a pointy stick. Like that's it. You'd probably be naked catching fish with a pointy stick, because you can't figure out like more effective ways that we have figured. So that's the thing though. Sometimes it feels like aliens gave us technology. It doesn't really feel like we came up with technology on our own, like by ourselves like that. It feels like it was given to us. But what do you think about morality? Do you think there is right and wrong in this world? Do you think people can truly be good without causing harm? Like, they can only be good because in ways that the world understands, I guess, right? So they feel like they are really good, but if they were programmed like those that we do not understand or accept, then we'll judge them. Like they wouldn't be able to conquer themselves in that way. So everyone is the same, actually. Even the people who seem good, even the people that we worship, and like, yeah, that's a great person. Look at what they've done, look at that person. They ended slavery. What if we're all the same, or we're all looking for the same feeling? We're all chasing for the same feeling, but we're just getting it in different ways or by doing different things, right? You find that I cannot get the feeling that I want by doing what the world wants me to do. I can get the feeling that I want by doing things that the world does not approve of. But the world is also chasing for that feeling. It's just that it's more acceptable it's more acceptable to get that feeling doing what the world wants us to do, but you're not programmed in a way that you're going to be able to get that feeling doing what the world wants you to do. So what do? Remember, there's no way out, right? It's not like people will be like, it's just because you're programmed differently and we don't accept you, we don't accept how you feel. We're going to give you maybe a way out. You don't have a way out, so you're stuck. So yeah, we really need to think about morality. See if we're not being selfish to judge others. and see if we can operate at a very high level of consciousness that allows us to do what is actually right, causing the least amount of harm, because that's what will be good, I guess. Making sure that the world is balanced, everyone is experiencing the same amount of pleasure and the same amount of suffering, right? Because if you put people in a situation where some of them experience more suffering than others, they will do what they can to minimize that suffering, and some of the things that they will do will be harmful because they're trying to minimize their suffering. Are they bad for trying to minimize their suffering? Are we not selfish to feel that way? If I'm not suffering that much, yeah, now it has started raining. Thank you all, guys.